Hi everyone. For those that couldn't make it tonight, I'm just going to go ahead and make this recording so you all can watch this in your off time, and learn how to make beats on your smartphone. This is an app called Bandlab. It's available, from what I understand, for both Android and for iOS, for iPhones. I'm currently on an iPhone, but I imagine that the navigation in the app is almost exactly the same. So today I'm going to go through 3 different ways for how to make music on just your iPhone. That's all you need. So follow along as you're watching this. And let's get started. I hope it won't be too difficult at all, and I do not think it will be, because we'll start with the looper, which is this one right here. It'll be the yellow one as you sort of go into this plus sign at the bottom. You'll scroll to looper, and you'll press looper. And you should be brought to a bunch of different presets. You can go ahead and explore all the different ones. It's totally up to you. You can take a listen to each. And this one's retro. So, okay, there's more options you can choose from. I'm gonna go with 80s for, Halloween. All right. So I press on it again, and it should take you to this sort of grid here. Now, the really cool thing about this app is you really don't need to know much about music at all, and you can start making music right now. And it's as simple as just pressing one of these buttons. So let's just start, for instance, with bass, as so many great songs do. So as you can see, bass is playing right away, and I can sort of change the bass. And it'll just keep looping forever. So let's do this one for now. And then we can go ahead and then add some other layers to this. So let's add some drum. Okay, now we have a beat. We could add a synth to this. Have some keyboard. Ooh, I really like that one. Let's keep that for now. Have some special effects on top of it. You can take stuff out if you like. There's some more synth options down here. Great! So we have a little piece going on, and you can go ahead and change these as you wish. Mess with the bass line a little bit, or the drum beat. Special effects. Some laughing there. Keyboard. Yeah, so you can go ahead and mess around with this all you like. there's also an option. If you go down, you'll see that there's 3 little icons below this grid. And if you press on the middle one, you have some cool filter and Gator options. So a filter is basically just a thing that basically allows or denies certain frequencies for going through. So if I have a high pass filter, then it will allow high frequencies to go through, and the other way around for a low pass filter. So if you go here, so now all of my high frequencies are going through, but my low frequencies are not. And if I go down, the opposite. So let's keep it right here, for instance. You can hear all the low frequencies, but the high frequencies are gone. And you can do like cool little effects there. And then the Gator has to do with volume and also sort of rhythm. So it basically cuts in and out the audio depending on how fast you want it to be, and then how severe you want it to be. So for example, so this is sort of at 0, and say I wanted the music to sort of go in and out every 8th note. So I would want it to be pretty severe, and I can go up here. Hear how it's going in and out? So you can hear how it's sort of going in and out. So you can sort of play with these two things. Like that. And then down here you have some sort of options for what we call granular synthesis. And granular synthesis is something where, well, it is supposed to be when it's really, really fast. When really, really small bits of audio are pressed together, sometimes they go so fast that they create a different continuous sound. And that process is called granular synthesis. And you can sort of hear that if we do, for instance, the 1/32. You can hear how it sort of starts to feel to almost sound like a drum roll, like a continuous sound. But there's also some different options that are a little bit less crazy, for instance. You can play around a little bit with these options. Just experimenting a little bit. But you can see what I mean. And the last thing I'll show you sort of in this module is there's this thing called FX. And these are just special effects you can apply to your sounds. So there's a couple different options. You can just go through and see how each affects. This is bass boost, meant to affect the bass. You can sort of hear how it got, it seems to be a little higher. It just means that some of the higher frequencies are getting let through more. This one's called the bright room. A little warmer. That one's really meant for drums, but see, it's really warm so that the drums don't sound so severe when you're recording. So anyway, you can explore with those. I actually happen to be really frightened. So that's a little bit about looping. I'm just going to show you a couple other things you can do in this app as well. I'm going to go ahead and discard for now. We can come back later. Now I'm going to show you some of the Midi instruments. So a lot of this is the same as the looper. You can sort of pick and choose from a bunch of different options. Ooh, maybe we try synth pop. How about, let's do retro electronica. Let's do, let's do something completely different. Let's try Jack Chicago House. So there's two different things that you can do here. So there's this called the sampler, and then you could actually also sort of enter it manually, but I'll show you what that sort of means. Let's start with the sampler just because it's a little easier to do. If you want to use the sampler, you want to make sure on the bottom right-hand side of the screen that this little metronome is on, and you can turn it on and off. You want to make sure that it's actually enabled. And what this basically will do is it will mark time for you so that you can really know if you're sort of on the beat. And you also want to make sure, if you go up to settings, which is the gear icon on the top of the screen, you want to make sure that count in is on for 1 bar. This is just a personal preference, but I think it's really helpful because before you even start playing, you'll sort of get a sense of the tempo before. And while you're here, you can sort of change key signature and time signature. Time signature is basically sort of what the beat will be in. So 4/4 is sort of like a classic 1 2 3 4 2 2 3 4. But you could also change it to something like 3/4, which is like a waltz. 1 2 3 1 2 3. A waltz would be something faster, of course. It might be like 1 2 3 1 2 3. But for now, let's just stay at 4/4. And then you can also change the tempo here. And if you don't really know what the number corresponds to, you can actually also tap your own tempo. So say I want something like this speed. Or actually, I want it a little slower. Let's do like da, 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 da. So I could actually tap it. Da, 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 da. So it's around, that was a little fast. It's around like 102, it was seeming like. So let's keep it there for now. Now, the really fun thing about the sampler is that you can sort of just, play the music and improvise as you're going along. So before we do that, we can just get a sense of the sounds here. And you can just do that by clicking any of these buttons. Cool. So now that we have sort of a sense of the things, we can sort of go ahead and try some stuff out. Okay, so that was just a little ditty. And how you go back to here, what it sounds like is you press this button next to record. And sorry, I should say the record button is the big red circle at the bottom of the screen. And to go listen to it, you press this sort of the triangle that's facing to the left, that's facing sort of a line. It's this one right here. So you can go back and then you could press the play button. A little bizarre at the end, but we'll work with it for now. So that's one way you can do it, and then you could just keep adding layers on top. So, for example, so that's a little example. So you can go ahead and experiment with that a little bit. You can try out some things, and you can just go to your heart's content and really play around with these different presets while you do that. Another thing you can do, just like the last one, is you can add different bass boosts. You can do, you can sort of play it too. And then you could take metronome off so that you can hear it without the metronome, obviously. So that's kind of fun because it goes up and down like we were doing earlier. So let's keep it like that for now. And another cool thing you can do is you can actually add tracks, and you could, for instance, add your own voice. So I won't do it for now, but you could see that you could record your own voice going. And I'll just sort of record my own voice because, my God, I do not like my singing voice. But so now that it's recorded, you can sort of see. And I'll just sort of record my own voice because, my God, I do not like my singing voice. But so anyway, you can sort of see that you can, sing on top of your beats that you make, and you can go at your heart's content. And if you go at the top and click on the feather, you can actually add some lyrics and notes. So you can see you can sort of add notes to your song as you go along, just so you don't forget about it when you do stuff later. All right, and the last thing I want to show you is, again, with the sampler. But this time, I want to show you how you can make your own sounds. And if you were paying attention to some of the Instagram posts or TikToks earlier this week, this is actually how I made my other videos, is I was able to record my own pads. So for instance, let's make a little beat. So what you do, as it says, you tap and hold a pad to start recording. So maybe I'll do, and maybe we'll have like a sort of a hi-hat sound. And maybe we'll have a, I don't know, maybe like a, and like some sort of keyboardy sounds. Beep, boop, beep, meep. And maybe some synthy things. Mow, 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 mow. Again, I hate my singing voice. However, you can sort of see what you could do here. Boop, 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 beep, 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 mip, 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 mip. Ma, ma. So let's try out this a little bit. All right. All right. Let's go back and record some other things on top of that. Boop, boop, beep, 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 mip, boop, beep, beep, mip, boop, beep. And then we can record some of the synths on top of that. Ma, beep, beep, ma, beep, ma, beep, beep, ma, ma. You can listen to it all together. So needs a little bit of work, but you can see how you can start using your own household sounds to start making beats in your own songs. And there's a really cool community, and here I'll save that for later. And there's a really cool community here at Bandlab, and it seems like there's a lot of cool artists you can connect with, and eventually you can start posting your own stuff. So yeah, now that I showed you a little sort of sample of what you can do, I hope you have a really, really good time exploring these different options. And feel free to contact us at Near North Mobile Media Lab. I can be reached at tcunningham.n2m2l@gmail.com. And yeah, I'm excited to hear what you all come up with.